Spinning the dial on my ham radio, voices crackle through static glow. Morse code tapping in the night, underneath the stars so bright. Connecting folks from far and wide, waves in the air they provide. Call signs echo through the ether. Let's get closer, let's go deeper. Amateur radio round tables so fine. Join the chat and realign. From HF to VHF, we're all here. Let's make the distance disappear. Twist the knob, find a friend. Airwaves never seem to end. CQ calling loud and clear, sharing stories ear to ear. Antennas point to the sky, signals rise and amplify, tuning into hearts worldwide. Our voices mesh and coincide. Amateur radio round table so fine. Join the chat and realign. From HF to VHF, we're all here. Let's make the distance disappear. Join the chat and realign. From HF to VHF, we're all here. Let's make the distance disappear. Twist the knob, find a friend. Airwaves never seem to end. CQ calling loud and clear, sharing stories ear to ear. To me, amateur radio round table so fine. Join the chat and realign. From HF to VHF, we're all here. Let's make the distance disappear. CQ on the air tonight. Where around tables lit and the signal's tight. Per static fades, I twist the knob. The shack comes alive, this is my job. LEDs glow, antennas high. Another night beneath the sky. I'm calling out, hear that tone. Across the globe, I'm not alone. The net's alive and I'm checking in. Let the conversation begin. We're at the amateur radio roundtable. We're all plugged in, solid and stable. W5KUB's calling loud and proud, spinning stories through the static cloud. From KW5GP to WI7BG, we're rocking the bands wild and free. Hey, Glenn's got mods on a breadboard base, breast breaking news from a distant place. Tom's at the helm like a seasoned vet, streaming it live on the internet. Antenna swing, the skip is long. We're singing the ham radio radio song. Spin that dial, let's catch some heat. 40 meters never felt so sweet. But at the amateur radio roundtable, with coax lines and power cables, D's petitions, QSLs, we got more ham than a southern belle. From KW5GP to WI7BG, we're working the world wild and free. Well, yeah, rockin' worldwide. Mic in hand and a call sign, pride. Oh yeah, the amateur radio roundtable. Story strong and signal stable. So key it up and call your name in this wild RF Hall of Fame. From KW5GP to you and me. We're having heart 7 and 3.
All right, mic test. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. All right, guys. Hey, if you're out there listening on shortwave, you're listening to our pre-show music on Amateur Radio Roundtable, a show about shortwave. Our live show will start at about in about 15 minutes or so. So just sit back, hopefully enjoy the music. All the lyrics are about Amateur Radio Roundtable, so check them out.
The shack comes alive, this is my job. LEDs glow, antennas high, another night beneath the sky. I'm calling out, hear that tone. Across the globe, I'm not alone. The net's alive and I'm checking in. Let the conversation begin. Or at the Amateur Radio Roundtable, we're all plugged in, solid and stable. W5 keys calling loud and proud, spinning stories through the static cloud. From KW5GP to WS7BG, we're rocking the bands wild and free. Glenn's got mods on a breadboard base. Brett's breaking news from a distant place. Tom's at the helm like a seasoned vet, streaming it live on the internet. Antenna swing, the skip is long. We're singing the ham radio song. Spin that dial, let's catch some heat. 40 meters never felt so sweet. At the Amateur Radio Roundtable, with coax lines and power cables, D expeditions, QSLs, we got more ham than a southern belle. From KW5GP to WS7BG, we're working the world wild and free. CQ, rocking worldwide. Mic in hand and a call sign, pride. Yeah, the Amateur Radio Roundtable. Story strong and signal stable. So key it up and call your name in this wild RF Hall of Fame. From KW5GP to you and me, we're hamming hard 7 to 3. CQ out. On the air tonight. The roundtable's lit and the signal's tight. For static fades, I twist the knob. The shack comes alive, this is my job. LEDs glow, antennas high, another night beneath the sky. I'm calling out, hear that tone. Across the globe, I'm not alone. The net's alive and I'm checking in. Let the conversation begin. More at the Amateur Radio Roundtable, we're all plugged in. from a distant place. Tom's at the helm like a seasoned vet, streaming it live on the internet. Antenna swing, the skip is long. We're singing the ham radio song. Spin that dial, let's catch some heat. 40 meters never felt so sweet. Oh, at the amateur radio roundtable with coastlines and power cables. The expeditions, QSLs, we've got more ham than a southern belle. From KW5GP to 2ME, 7BG, we're working the world wild and free. Rockin' we're over the rear, then you're the round table. Story strong and signal stable. So key it up and call your name in this wild RF Hall of Fame. From KW5 to QME, we're Hammond Hard 7-3. Da, 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 da. Out. Tune it in, the static fades a myth. Voices rising on the RF waves. Every night it's time to go. Ham fams meeting on the video. Tom W5, KUB's in control. Pushing with that broadcast soul. From shack to screen, near or far. He's the reason we know we are. Amateur radio roundtable. Live and let rock in every label. We're on at 8 Central every night. With signals clear and spirits bright. With Tom, Glenn, KW5GP, and Brett WI7BG. And a shout out to Mark P. You know he brings the heat. Join the crew and tag along at W5KUB.com. Yeah! Glenn's in deep with the DIY. Building radios that touch the sky. Schematic dreams and soldered art. He brings that maker's heart. Then Brett's on air, strong and clear. Rocking Wyoming from ear to ear. He's wrangling signals like a boss. Showing the world what hams don't toss. Amateur radio roundtable. We're loud, we're live, we're more than cable. 8 o'clock Central, that's the call. Log in, check in, don't miss it at all. Tom, Glenn, Brett, and Mark on screen. With hams worldwide in the in-between. Come on now, don't be gone. We're at W5KUB.com. Yeah. We're live, we're more than cable. 8 o'clock Central, that's the call. Log in, check in, don't miss it at all. Tom, Glenn, Brett, and Mark on screen. With hams worldwide in the in-between. Come on now, don't be gone. We're at W5KUB.com. Tune it in, the static fades MF. Voices rising on the RF waves. Every night it's time to go. Ham fams meeting on the video. Tom W5KUB's in control. Ham pushing the stream with that broadcast soul. From shack to screen, near or far, he's the reason we know who we are. He is the amateur radio roundtable, and live and loud rocking every label. We're on at 8 Central every night, with signals clear and spirits bright. With Tom, Glenn, KW
Hello, Glenn.
Building radios that touch the sky. Pneumatic dreams and soldered art.
I didn't hear you too good that time.
Them bricks on air, strong and clear. Rockin' Wyoming from
Man,
here
your
to
audio
here.
is real garbled. I don't know what's going on here.
Showing the world what
Maybe it'll clear up. I don't know.
the amateur radio round table. We're loud, we're more than cable. 8 o'clock central, that's the call.
Sounds like you're trying to speak underwater.
Miss it at all. Tom, Glenn, Brett, and Mark on screen with hams worldwide in the in-between. Come on now,
You want to
don't
reconnect?
be gone. We're at W5KUB.com. We're loud, we're live.
Hello, KED5PUR. Good to see you again.
Log in, check in, don't miss it at all.
I'm not hearing you, Glenn. Let's see.
Tom, Glenn, Brett, and Mark on screen with hams worldwide in the in-between. Come on now, don't be gone. We're at W5KUB.com.
Glenn, why don't you reconnect? That might clear it up. Test 1 2 testing. Glenn, can you hear me? I can't hear you. I see your lips moving. Let me see if I can read your lips. Can't quite read your lips.
Building bridges from shack to shack. Ham radio family, we got your back. It's the best ham show
Nothing.
on earth. Amateur radio roundtable full of work. Tune in 8 p.m. Tuesday.
Mark P, who do you hear? Are you hearing Glenn?
It's outside URP to satellites in flight.
Oh, I think you're hearing me.
He's bringing the light.
Yeah.
Come on now, don't miss the view. The roundtable's waiting for you. Glenn KW5GP breaks it down.
Well, if I have to tonight, I can zoom in on your lips, and everybody can do lip reading.
Easy like a nursery rhyme. Then Brett WY7BG hits the stream with hand-fast treasures of Pitner's dream. Radios, gadgets, vintage and new, showing off the finds that make us drool. It's the best ham show on earth. Amateur radio roundtable full of work.
Let's see.
PM Tuesday night at W5KUB.com. It's outside QR.
Ah, Brett is mobile. Okay, I got him. Brett is mobile.
Now don't miss the view. The roundtable's
about
waiting
now?
for you.
I heard you that time.
You heard me that time?
Yeah, you're doing good, man. What do you do? Turn your mic on?
No, I left this crazy app and joined it again.
All right.
Here we are. Got my mic on.
Yeah, man.
Bringing up your volume. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
What we're gonna do? The show is gonna fund you a trip to Conway, Arkansas, so you can show Glenn where the button is on his computer for the mic.
The button says
okay.
close window, open window.
Yeah.
is there one that says jump out window?
The problem
Exit
is
window.
I'm on the floor.
Yeah.
Man, I've got an atomic clock up here on the wall, and it's reading exactly 10 minutes slow. I guess the atoms are just slow tonight, man. All right, well, I'll pull together a few things to talk about tonight.
I've got a couple of things too.
That's good.
Talk about the ARRL's submission to the FCC asking for changes in the ham radio rules, part of the delete proceeding. They've got some good ones.
You know, I'm not paying much attention to that. I don't think anybody knows what the FCC is going to do.
And I talked to a person at the FCC about a week ago, and he said that most of the comments that came in that docket were from hams. So there's a chance.
You say they were not hams?
They were from hams.
Oh, okay.
There were more comments about changing ham radio rules than there were about changing any other rules.
Oh, were people wanting rules changed?
Yeah, they wanted restrictions removed. By the way, your picture of us as a band made me think that I might want to write a song about that.
Which picture
See
is
if
that?
I can do as well. The picture that showed us as a band. Yeah, although you did have me on drums, and it's not my usual instrument. I can drum, but I'm not great at it.
Let's see. Okay. I can't even find that picture. There it is. You're talking about that picture? No, wait a minute. That picture?
No, although I've been asked for a copy of that actually.
Yeah, all right, yeah. Hey, just yeah, okay, I'll send it to you.
Yeah.
That's a good. I tried today to put Glenn and you both on there with Glenn hanging by one arm and you holding him, but they won't do it, man. They just Grope or whatever his name is. He just won't do it, man.
Oh. Or they gave me 3 arms.
Where, here? Or are you talking about later?
Yeah.
Or, yeah.
Well, Grok will do that. But there was a picture of us as a band, the 3 of us.
As a who?
You had me on
As a
guitar
band.
and Brett on the drums and Mark P on the front with you.
I have to find it.
Amateur radio roundtable. Know your worth. Tune in, chat, learn, and play. We're live at W5.
I don't know where it is. I had to find it. I've got them. Yeah. I've got them.
Making ham dreams come true.
Yeah.
It's the best ham show on earth.
All right.
Amateur radio roundtable. Know your worth.
I see a comment in the chat. FCC charges us now just to confirm we want to keep the license. Yep. In Australia, they did away with that. In Australia, you're certified unless you pass away or say you don't want it anymore.
Well, you know, I've got the well, it used to be first class license. I got it's called now General Radio Telephone License. Yeah, it's a lifetime license. You don't have to renew it.
Yep, you take the test, and once you do it, you don't have a renewal fee either. The fees in Australia used to be high. Some of the hams got American licenses as a result. They've completely turned that around.
Yeah. Okay, it is after 8 o'clock, so we need to get started here, man. All right, so let's do this. Let's see if I can figure out how to work this stuff. Well, let's see. I'll figure it out in a minute. There we go. We got that done. All right. All right. Here we go. Hello, welcome everybody out there. If you are listening on WBCQ International Shortwave on 7490, we welcome you. This is Amateur Radio Roundtable, a show about ham radio, shortwave, electronics, and we're glad to have you. Please send us an email to tom@w5kub.com and let us know where you are in the world, how you're hearing the station. The station is located up in Monticello, Maine, right up on the Canadian border, near the 51st state up there, and would love to hear from you. And I just saw WB8ELK join. Welcome. Glad to have you in here, Bill. And let's see, what else is going on? Okay, so if you will, we are on Facebook, x.com, and somewhere else, YouTube. Yeah, Brett has to help me out sometimes on this. So we're streaming on all those at the same time tonight. If you see a subscribe button somewhere, please hit that subscribe button. It helps us out a whole lot to, get the word out about our show to other people that are kind of looking around on YouTube to see if they can find something with the subject of electronics or radio and so forth. So please hit that. And if you will, if you like the show tonight, hey, hit that like button and hit the, we've already said hit the subscribe button. Boy, there's a lot of buttons to hit. Hit the notify button. We're going to start coming on during the week. Who did that? Who did that?
Not me.
Oh, okay. All right. Where was I? I got to start over now. I forgot where I was. Anyway, we're glad to have you tonight. And hey, hit that subscribe button and hit that notify button. We are on sometimes in between, and also if you follow us on Facebook, if you follow us on Twitter, X, you'll probably get a notification when we come on because we are streaming on Twitter also. All right. Well, hey, tonight I got several things I want to talk about tonight, man. Just things. Hey, we're going to do a quick review, not a technical review, but just going to kind of look at the Yaesu FT-891. Now, I won this radio over a year ago at Russellville, and I just now kind of got it out of the box and starting to play with it. So I know how to do about 4 things with it. It's much different than my ICOM stuff. All the menus are a little different, and this radio is really compact too. We'll talk about that in a little while. So I want to talk about the FT-891 tonight. We'll show it to you. Also, you may know the FT-891 doesn't have an antenna tuner in it. So I bought one of those little bitty ATU 100s just to play with and kind of match it up maybe with the 891 here. Now you guys know I do have other auto antenna tuners that I could take and use, but this one just kind of intrigued me. It was so small. It's about the size of a cigarette package, and I've been playing with it, and it works pretty good, I think. I'm going to show you the ATU 100 auto tuner in a little while. I'm going to give you an update on our balloon flight, W5KUB-119, that we are kind of flying for the Arkansas River Valley Amateur Radio Foundation. You know, they just had a ham fest here a few weeks ago. We went over there, and the weather was bad. We couldn't launch a balloon. And I'm trying to get a balloon around the world for them. So we're going to talk a little about that. I'm going to tell you a little about it, how it's built up, and where we are. Actually, we're just about to cross China. We're getting close to the east coast of China. And then I want to talk about another thing, man. There's so much going on, man. You can buy so much stuff here that is cheap and does amazing things. And guys, this is a boost converter. I don't know if you can see it or not. This thing weighs less than an ounce, and less than a gram. That's a boost converter, and I'm starting to think, okay, on our satellite solar systems, we run 6 solar cells, 8 solar cells, and I did a quick test on this today, and I put 1 volt in, and I'm getting 5 volts out, and I had a 100 milliamp load on it, 5 volts out with just 1 volt in. So I got some ideas about this for some flights, so that's coming up. Also, I want to talk to you about a neat tracking map for tracking the balloon. If you guys have looked at Whisper lately or APRS lately, you might notice that it's all in foreign language. If you get over into Europe and Asia, the map is in Russian and it's in Chinese. So we have developed our own map with, actually, we had a friend in Texas, Paul, that did the software, and we actually built our own Google map on our web server that has everything in English. Look at this. Look at this. Everything is in English here, not like Russian and Chinese on the other maps. So I've got a slight problem with this. He's working on tracking part, and we should have it going again probably tonight or tomorrow. So I want to talk about those things. I know we've got some other things coming up, and let's just go around the room here and see what is going on. Let's see. And Bill asked about the boost converters. Yeah, Bill, I'll send you a link. I'm going to talk more about these later, man. This is amazing. I think you could take two solar cells. I think you could take two solar cells and run a tracker. I really do. 1 gram. Okay. All right. Let's go around the room here and see what's going on. Let me see what picture I want to get. Let's go with this one, and we'll pick up Brett first. Hey, Brett, come on in here.
Evening, Tom. Evening, everyone. The weather here has been stormy, and so I've been getting out in between the raindrops to try to do work. And also, since I run an internet provider and there have been power outages due to the lightning, I've been running generators around town. That's always fun. You put up a generator when there's a power failure in an area, and then every couple of hours you have to go back and feed it. So I've been spending a lot of time putting gasoline in there. And while I've been doing all that, because of lightning, I've been reading up a little bit more on grounding and bonding. And so I've got this ARRL book, Grounding and Bonding for the Radio Amateur. A lot of the material in there I've already covered on my own, but it is really useful to review. There were a few new things in there I didn't know about, so I've been learning from it. Definitely recommend this book if you have an opportunity to buy stuff from the ARRL site. And speaking of ARRL, I also have been reviewing ARRL's comments to the FCC in the delete proceeding, having to do with improvements that they might make to the amateur radio regulations. And I can talk about that either now or a little bit later if you'd like, about the sort of things that the IRL is suggesting, most of which I really agree with.
Okay, great. We'll talk about it in just a few minutes. I turned my mic up a little bit, guys. Do I have better audio now? They were commenting my audio was low. Yeah, we'll talk about that in a few minutes, Brett. And you got anything else there? I'm real interested to hear what the guys are saying there.
Not much else. Just continuing to build electronics, getting ready for that little transmitter contest that they're going to have at Dayton. I think I finally got a good circuit.
Okay, well, great. We'll be interested to see how it works out for you there. All right, so we know you're going to Dayton. Now we're gonna webcast. We're gonna webcast the Dayton Hamvention. So Mark P is setting up stuff up there, and we're gonna have a stream just about all day on Friday and Saturday. It's just going to be random streams. I think he has lined up some roving reporters to walk around and stream, and it might be interesting to watch. We may see a big flood up there and everybody getting stuck, and I might recognize Glenn's car getting stuck out there in the middle, and y'all come by Mark's booth and report in for us. And Glenn, I know you're going, Glenn. How you doing, Glenn? You got everything ready to go?
Yeah, I'm getting there. Your audio is still just a little bit hot.
It's hot? Okay, well, they were complaining.
It's distorting a little bit.
Okay, they were complaining it was low. I turned it down a little bit. How's that right there?
Yeah, that's
good?
That's good.
I am hearing an echo.
Yeah.
It's good, but I think it's echoing back through your microphone.
Interesting. I'll look for.
Yeah, I'm on a headset, so
I don't
it's
know.
got to be him.
Now wait a minute. You accusing me of something going wrong?
Yes.
We know your reputation, man. All right. It's kind of like you blame others what you do. Is that right? All right.
Yeah. That's the nature of the beast.
Okay. So back to you, Glenn. So okay. So you're about ready to go. And are you gonna go by? Are you gonna go by? Is it Friday night where Brett's having his challenge? No, it'd be Thursday night.
Those are the QRP Archie events, Thursday and Friday nights.
Yeah.
And yes, I will be there. And yeah, I can hear this echo as well. But anyway, I'll be there Thursday and Friday. I just got back from Florida. I was there for my 50th class reunion over the weekend. And gosh, did we have some fun. But anyway, we were on the beach there in Sebastian, and I was tempted not to come home. It was so nice. But got a lot going on. Those of you that know I've been looking for a tower, got a line on one that's actually, they're going to bring it to me. It's a 38-foot Aluma tower, crank up, tilt over, and coming from some friends in Memphis.
Cool.
And hopefully that'll be here in a few weeks. I'm also closing on the old house in Memphis here, hopefully maybe Monday or Tuesday, so I can afford the tower.
Yeah.
And getting ready for Dayton, flying out for Dayton Thursday. And, I'll be doing my Arduino forum there Saturday afternoon, and immediately after doing book signings over in the ARRL area. Hope to get to sign there with Ward Silver, who wrote the grounding and bonding book. That's a really good book. Yes, I got one last year and really like it. But yeah, this is going to be a busy week. Dayton, I just can't wait for it. Loving it.
All right, now you're not going to be able to buy a bunch of stuff and bring it back because you're flying up there.
Yeah, but Dayton has the shipping stations there.
Oh, do they?
So I can pretty much get whatever I want.
Okay, well, that's good.
And yes, Mark, I am going to the closing over in Memphis.
All right. Hey, so they're asking what there's Mark's booth is going to be 8220 and 8221. And Mark, you help me out here. I think that's kind of on the southwest corner of the track. In other words, if you look at the map of the track, it's down at the bottom left, kind of. He may be in a few, I don't know, 6 or 8 spaces or something like that. I don't know. Maybe Mark can give you a better description, but it's going to be, I think it's going to be on the hey, Mark, is it on the very outer track? I mean, the very outer row, or are you in one row? I don't remember, but I know you're down in the southwest corner there. Okay. All right, let's see. What we're going to have at the booth, we're also, hey, in addition to Mark there and our roving reporters, we're going to have our Skycam, guys. We've got a Skycam that's up in the air there, and it's going to be giving you a picture of all the outside spaces out there in the track. So that should be interesting right there. We hope the weather's good for you guys. If not, hey, go by. If you're outside, go by and get under the tarp, under the awning or whatever you call that. Mark's got there to get you underneath there and keep you dry. And it always rains at least once in Dayton every year during Hamvention, but it'll probably rain maybe 3 or 4 hours Friday morning, and then that's it. The rest of the time will be fine. So don't worry about it, I have found that walking around there at Xenia seems to be a lot tougher than it was walking around at Hera Arena. What do you think, Glenn?
Yeah, I agree. And I don't know if it's bigger, because in Xenia, I mean, all of the booth spaces are cramped close together, but also the flea market opened like an hour earlier than the convention center. So you got
Yeah.
to do the flea market early and then go inside. I think it's that walk all the way to the harness track kind of gets to you, because
All
it's
right.
kind of a little bit bigger in terms of area.
All right. Well, Mark is saying that his booth is it's on the outer row, the outer ring, and it's about 10 spaces in from the end, and he's in the southwest corner. So you won't have any trouble finding him. 82. Oh, was that 80? I've lost it. 82 something.
8220 and 8221.
Yeah, 8220 and 8221. So you guys come by and get on the show. Mark will have the cameras, the microphones there. I'll be here in the studio, and we'll be trying to put on a show for Hamvention here remotely. We did it the last couple of years. And we do thank the high school there for their, I guess, is their TV production class and volunteers that came out and became roving reporters for us. All right, let's see. Okay, Glenn, anything else?
No, not. I'm just ready to go.
Okay. Well, I tell you what, let's do. Let's go back to Brett, and let's see what he found out. He talked to the FCC. Brett, come on in here.
Okay. Well, here I am. I looked over the FCC's delete docket. This is a regulation cutting initiative by Chairman Brendan Carr, and the ARL came up with a couple of ideas for regulations that ought to be cut from the Part 97 of the FCC rules. And some of them are good ones. Some of them would really make ham radio more interesting, and so I'm in favor of most of them. Let's see. I'm looking at their document now. The first one says delete symbol or baud rate and bandwidth limitations. They say in November of 2023, the Commission adopted a further notice of proposed rulemaking in which it proposed to remove the baud rate and bandwidth limits on specific amateur LF and VHF UHF bands. And they're suggesting that this finally be done so that people can do higher bandwidth digital communications. And I think this would be a good thing. Right now, there are extreme limits which really prevent you from doing a lot, and there's no reason for that. You can do more on unlicensed Wi-Fi than you can on a licensed ham link, and that seems kind of strange. So I'm all in favor of that.
Yeah, but hey, Brett,
Yeah.
if I agree with you some there that we need more bandwidth, but if they don't put any limits on it, I mean, a standard TV signal would be like 4 megs wide, man. I mean, that'd wipe out the whole band.
It would on the HF bands. On UHF and VHF, of course, you got more bandwidth. The higher up in frequency you go, the more room there is. So I agree that you shouldn't be able to take over a whole HF band, but they might be able to loosen the requirements enough that you could have a little more fun. I guess that's what I'd like to see.
Right.
Now the next one says update and modernize entry-level technician class license privileges. And basically they're saying it's been many years since the privileges of the amateur radio entry-level license have been updated. And during this period, digital technologies and modes have been introduced and become widely popular in the amateur radio service, yet the newest entrants are denied access to the HF frequencies where these modes are deployed. you can see where this is going. What they're asking is for technician class licensees to be able to do things like FT8. And well, since a lot of our new licensees are younger people who are sort of like the video game um, like feel of modes like FT8, it might be a good thing to do. And so they're not asking for technicians to get full general and extra class privileges, but they're asking for a little more capability, and that might be a good idea.
Okay.
And let's see what else. The next proposal is modernize the subband divisions between 80 and 75 meters. And basically, what they're saying is that multiple stations are crowded into a thin sliver in one area, while otherwise usable frequencies nearby are underutilized because the subband limits drawn years ago are based on usage patterns that are now significantly changed. What they're asking for is for more of the band to be usable for digital. Things like things like RIDI be allowed, and just generally more room for new modes down in the lower portion of the band. And let's see, in the next section, there's another item which talks about digital. It says delete and replace obsolete digital code limitations. And that is probably a good thing also. Right now on Wi-Fi, you can use spread spectrum modulation schemes, but hams can't, even though we're licensed and Wi-Fi is unlicensed. The, the reason for this is historical. Back in the old days, when the rules were first crafted, spread spectrum was considered to be a spying technology. And in fact, frequency hopping spread spectrum, which was co-invented by Hedy Lamarr, the famous actress, was used initially in wartime as a way of trying to disguise communications, but not anymore. Now, again, you use Wi-Fi, and at least some of the Wi-Fi modes are using spread spectrum. So what the RL is asking for is that we eliminate those old restrictions, and as long as people know what the code is and is able to decode it, so it's not an encrypted message, people be allowed to use spread spectrum. And again, that's a good thing. It's just getting rid of an obsolete restriction, which really, again, using spread spectrum isn't spycraft, so it's no longer relevant. And finally, one that I would really like to see, which is to delete the amplifier drive limitations. As you probably know, an amateur radio amplifier is limited to 15 dB of gain. That means that in order to get to the legal limit, 1500 watts, you can't just drive it with a QRP transmitter, even though that QRP transmitter transmits a perfectly fine signal. Instead, you need a 100-watt transceiver to drive the 1500-watt amplifier, and those 100 watts get wasted in the input stage of the amplifier. That's silly. The amplifier should be able to be the main driver for your antenna, and even a little QRP transmitter, if it's a quality QRP transmitter, should be able to act as the exciter for it. So the ARRL is asking that this be eliminated, and I think that the restriction is out of date and really should be. The reason why it existed in the first place was that people were using ham radio amplifiers as CB amplifiers, and now the technology exists to prevent that from happening. Most amplifiers that are made nowadays have digital controls in them that can see when you're trying to do that and block it. So there's no reason to maintain that. And then let's see, a couple of other things, some minor ones. There's that the ARL has asked that the identification requirement for special call signs be deleted. When you get a special call sign for an event, you're required to identify using your assigned call sign, your original call sign, at least once per hour. And this was adopted back before there was an online database, both the ULS and also when you couldn't just look it up on QRZ. It doesn't make sense anymore to do that, and so is a good reason to just go ahead and say, well, you're using a special event call sign. Any ham can see that it's a special event call sign and look it up. There's no reason to say who's behind it because you can easily find out.
Well, I tell you, Glenn and I guess Glenn and I broke FCC rules. I didn't realize you had to do that. Glenn and I did the Last Man Standing show here a couple years ago, and we were 6, and we didn't give our call. So, Glenn, we're going to get arrested.
Yeah. Well, again, I've participated in events like that, and I've had every hour to identify myself as, give my call as well as a special event call. I've done it, but it really doesn't add much to the, it's just an extra requirement to do the event. So I agree.
Yeah.
It doesn't really make sense.
Well, I think the FCC will make some of these changes. I really think they will.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and actually, finally, Tom, I would say during all the QSOs that we did identify ourselves.
You said we did?
I'm sure we did, yeah.
I'll go back and look.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And finally, the ARL is asking that the rules about replacing the paper license with a digital license be fixed up a bit. Because right now, part of the rules has been part of of Section 97 has been changed to eliminate paper licenses, but other parts haven't. And well, you can download your license anytime you want to, and you can download a master copy that creates an official printout. So there's no reason to retain any of the provisions that require paper licenses, and they're asking for that update.
I think when I renewed, I don't remember getting anything in the mail, a paper license. We just downloaded.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's right. The FCC has now eliminated that requirement, and even though they've eliminated that requirement, they've started charging a fee, claiming that there's an expense involved, which seems counterintuitive to me. It seems like they no longer have the paperwork expense. But I certainly think that they should eliminate any requirement for anything written anymore because, well, it's now just as easy to download it and print it. And those are the suggestions that they made. There were a few others from submitted by hams in the same vein, but the ARL really did hit it on the head. They really got the most important ones. So I think that it's that if people support this, they should put comments in the docket just briefly saying I agree with the ARL suggestions, and hopefully they'll adopt them.
Well, all right. Well, that was interesting. I think they'll make some of those changes. Really, they've made changes over the time. Like you don't have to record things in a logbook anymore, and that was kind of a good thing, I think.
Mm-hmm. I do keep a station log, but it's more just because I want to remember when and where I talk to someone if I'm going to give them a QSL card.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that brings up another subject. There's this there's a website called, is it QRZ? No. They're kind of wanting to look like QRZ. It's kind of a mirror site, but they're doing their own thing out there.
Oh, it's not QRZ.com.
No, I'm trying to think who it is. Anyway, they have their own logbook, and man, I get emails from time to time. Maybe you do too, where a guy says, hey, I'd like a QSL card from you. I worked you, 6 years ago. And I really don't have any way to go back and look at that. I mean, So, but
I get that too, and I'm not sure
yeah,
whether it's coming from Logbook from the World or whether it's from QRZ. Sometimes I do get notices years after I've made a QSO on QRZ saying someone has just logged that QSO too, so now we believe that you really did it.
man. So yeah, so I don't send them a card. There's so many people that are trying to get worked all you know worked all countries or whatever, and work all continents, and or worked all states, and they need your state, and they really didn't work you, but they think if they can sneak one by, you'll send them a card.
Mhm.
I usually don't send a card to them.
I don't know. I'm old. I keep a log.
Do you? Well,
Yeah.
I usually write it down on a piece of scratch paper. I've got a lot of my old logs. I've got old logs back to the 1960s, 1970s, and it's amazing. I look back in one of my logs here a while back, and when I was in the Air Force, 1970, I worked this guy named Hoss in Oklahoma City quite a few times. I didn't know it, but he was one of the crazies that was next door to me at the Dayton Hamfest for many, many years, and he's passed away now, but I didn't even know that I worked him until I got the old logbooks out and looked back and saw something, 50 years ago, and hey, there's Hoss, and all this time we were next to each other up there, and I wish I had known that. I could have talked to him about it, All right.
Yeah. I'm wondering if the crazies are going to be doing anything at Dayton this year. I looked at their website, which is iook.org, and
Yeah.
there isn't anything about this year's convention, so I don't
Well,
know
they'll
if
be
they're
out
going to have
there.
their usual
They'll
premise.
yeah, they'll be set up. They'll be out there, and they'll have a dinner, probably Friday night, Saturday night. They'll have a dinner for everybody if you want to meet at a restaurant, and so. Yeah, check them out. In fact, they're just down I think they're down the outer ring there that Mark's on, but they're down toward the southeast corner, and that's the IOOK, the International Order of the Crazies. And for 30 years, they've been trying to get me to join and buy a T-shirt that says IOOK Vice President on it, but I've always avoided it, and I've never joined them. So. Anyway, and I'm on their mailing list. I get their mail all the time. They'll be there. Okay, well, thanks for the update on that, man. All right, let's do this, and we'll be right back. And hey, we're going to talk about the FT-891. We're going to talk about the AT100 antenna tuner. We got a lot of things to talk about tonight, so we'll be right back. So stand by. ICOM's IC7760 is a pinnacle of base station excellence for amateur radio enthusiasts. Designed to deliver unmatched performance, the IC7760 features state-of-the-art technology, exceptional RF clarity, and an intuitive interface, all housed in a sleek and durable design. This base station features a separate remote control head and RF deck, providing enhanced flexibility for installation. Place the RF deck closer to the antenna feed point, freeing up space on your desk. You can also connect a control head to the RF deck through your home network, enabling remote operation from anywhere in your home without needing a PC. Pair the IC7760 with a powerful IC PW2 linear amplifier and take your contesting experience to the next level with ICOM's industry-first linear amplifier. Together, they redefine what's possible in amateur radio. For more information about ICOM's amateur radios, please visit icomamerica.com/amateur. All right, guys, I want to show you. We're going to talk a little about the Yaesu FT-891. No real technical review. I just got it out of the box, and we're going to look at it. It's a little interesting radio. Not sure if I like it or not. You know, I'm used to something more the size of the 7300 or 7610, but it's small. So let me put the other camera on it here, and maybe we can look at this. Well, first, I'll tell you what. First, let's do this. Let's look at the ATU 100 tuner. And I've got a couple slides on it first. Let's see if I can do this. So, you know, the ATU 100 comes in a plain brown box, and no instructions, zero, zilch, nothing in there. No operating manual or anything. They're really holding down cost. One of the things I noticed here, I mean, again, it's I guess it's 160 through 6 meters. Now they say 6 meters might be a little touchy. I haven't tried it on 6 meters. I played with it just a little bit. It seems to be working on the bands I tried it on. The thing I don't like is I have to reduce the power down to like 20 watts to tune it, because I'm reading here that if I run higher power to tune, it's going to probably blow up my antenna tuner. Now, so I don't like doing that, because on the FT-891 I got to hit this button and I got to hit this button and then hit it one more, hold it down, and then I got to turn the special function knob a bunch of times to get it down to 20 and then push it in, and then then maybe put it on FM or RTTY and then key up. That's my 20 watts. All right, now if I want to go back to 100 watts, I got to hit all those buttons again and go back to 20 watts, you know, and put it on sideband. So I really don't like that. Now, I'm thinking, and I've tried this, and it seems to have worked, but what is wrong with, let me get Brett and Glenn's opinion here. What is wrong with just leaving it on 100 watts and just do a light whistle or a hello into the mic, because that's going to hold the power down. You know, if you don't just scream in the mic, that's going to hold the power down to probably 20 watts, 30 watts. What do you think, man? You think I could safely do that?
It might depend on the mode.
Yeah. I
If
was
you're in
just
certain
thinking if
modes,
you're running
it'll be
CW.
full power.
Well, it's a hassle to change the mode, turn the power down, do all this, and then change it back, you know. So I'm thinking, okay, if I'm on
I'd
sideband.
look into beefing up that front end to handle the 100 watts mistuned.
Well, yeah, I don't know if it's much to beef up or not. Okay, let's look at it here. Okay, I've got it right here. All right, so let's look inside of it right here. In fact, there's basically instructions that comes with it right there. I did print those off, and I put it in my FT-891 book in case I need to, you know, learn some of this. So this is what it looks like inside. Pretty simple. I think there's 7 inductors, and I think they said 7 capacitors. I don't even know where the capacitors are. Let's see, 1, 2, 5. I guess that's those little capacitors over on the left.
You got
Yeah.
some on the right there. You've got 2 vertical electrolytics and
Yeah, but this wouldn't be electrolytics for tuning the inductors. They would be down in the picofarads. I imagine that's the ones on the very left hand side there.
yeah, unless it's
Yeah,
got
well,
to
take
do
a
with
look.
that.
Well, actually, they're on the bottom. They're surface mounted. You can see it
Oh,
says
well, okay. Let's look at that.
10 puffs, 22 puffs, 47 puffs, etc. Yeah,
There we go.
this
There we go.
this design, I've just looked this up. This design was apparently created by N7DCC
Mm-hmm.
and has been copied by lots of manufacturers, including a bunch of Chinese cloners.
Oh yeah. Now it's on GitHub. You could actually download the Gerber files. You could actually have these boards made at one of the PC places, real cheap, and so it's all on GitHub. Different manufacturers are making it, so I guess he has no legal rights to it. But you're right. They're the capacitors on the bottom side right there. There they are.
Yeah.
So there's the top side. You can see the inductors. And there's the bottom side where the capacitors are. I don't, man.
Well, they've got capacitors on the top side too.
Yeah, let's see. That's what the front looks like right there, and it's got a neat little display in it. It does read power. We're not sure how accurate it is, but it does read power, and I think it's supposed to be within about 10% of what it really is. Now, the interesting thing about this is it tells you the inductance and it tells you the capacitance. Once it's tuned, you know, it'll say, one microhenry and capacitor, 200 picofarad. So that's interesting. You could actually tune an antenna with that, tune an antenna, jot down the inductance to capacitance there, and you can actually build you a little LC tuner for that band just by using that inductor and that capacitor right there. It does show the SWR there in the bottom left. So it is auto. Yeah. It is auto. You put the power to it, and it will tune automatically. It does have a manual tune if you want to manually tune it. That says 18 to 30 megahertz on it, but the book says
1.8.
Yeah, 1.8 to 30. I read somewhere, that it would tune 6 meters, but it might be a little iffy. Now, there's so much out there on the internet about this thing. Like Brett was saying, everybody's building it. Different companies are building it, and they all have just a little bit different description of it. So that may have been where I saw it. But this is
the code. Yeah, the code is also there, and it looks like it doesn't use an Arduino; it uses a PIC.
Yeah.
Microprocessor.
Yeah. So here's what it looks like. Let me get the camera up where you can see it. We'll get a good first-hand look at it. So pretty small, man. It's it's just about 2 cigarette package sizes, But I thought, hey, that might be a good little match to go with the 891, Now, I don't know if I can trust this thing or not. I may blow it up by tuning with too much power or something. So I think when I go off and operate portable, I'll take my other, like my SGC tuner with me, because I know it's reliable and it works good. And if this thing blows up, I'll just throw it in a trash can and I'll switch to the other one. But on the back here, you can see it's 12 volts, goes in 12 volts. And you got your antenna and your transmit here. Now,
Hold it up a little higher, Tom. We're not seeing it.
Wait a minute. Man, I'm bad about getting the camera switched. There we go. That's probably much better.
Yes. So,
again, there's the front. You can see the display, power, inductance, capacitance, and the SWR right there.
Now, for that 30-watt issue, Mark had a good suggestion. What about a mechanical switch with an attenuator?
That would work. I could.
I still don't like that process, but that would.
Yeah, I could just build a little, like a 10 dB 50 ohm attenuator and put it in line and just flip it out when I didn't. Right. Didn't want it. That's an interesting point.
Do it with like a 2-position antenna switch or something.
Yeah. Let's look at the back of it here. 12 volts in.
Oh, Mark is saying it says for first use, keep it under 30 watts.
Yeah, for first use, I don't know what that means, man. I don't know.
Yeah, that's interesting definition.
So we get to your antenna here. Your SO239 is your antenna, and your transmitter here. Now, this is interesting here. You got these banana type terminals, screw terminals, and I just threw me a wire out my window the other day about 30 feet long, and I just connected it to this, and then I grounded the black one. And I was surprised. This thing tuned that 30-foot piece of wire out my window. It tuned it on 3 or 4 of the bands that I tested it on. Now, the book shows these, the picture, it shows these as experimental. I was a little concerned that, this is for a high impedance. I mean, a wire like this, that could be 2,000 ohms. It could be, I don't know, 1,000 ohms. I don't know, not 50 like these. So I was a little leery.
Maybe they're expecting ladder line?
Well, I think you could put it on here, but they don't say. They mention long wire. They mention long wire is what they mentioned in one of the documents. So, but it did tune it. It did tune it. So they may have a little toroid in here or something that matches this. Like a 49-to-1 or something. I looked inside. I didn't see it. So that's it. It does have a nice metal case to it, pretty solid built. So, and it's really small and light. It comes in, like I said, it comes in a plain brown box, basically. You don't get any instructions or anything in it. You do get the power cord. That's about all you get with it. It's about I paid about $80 for it. There's several different prices for this, and there's several different versions of this. So you kind of need to read about the different versions. There's some slight changes in these. Let's talk about. Let's see if there's any questions in the chat room about that. Let me go back to the chat room here. Mark says the picture shows the inside red terminal connected to the SO239. Well, that's interesting. Let me go back to the picture and look at that. Let's see. Let me look at this. Let me go back. I looked and I didn't see that. Let me look. It does right here in the top left of the picture. That binding post is connected to the antenna, to the SO239, to the antenna, yeah. So it must have a very wide range of frequencies that, it will tune. Yeah, Bill, I ordered it on Amazon. I can look it up and get the link. But guys, if you just do a search on Amazon for ATU 100, it'll pop up there for sure. All right, let's see what else they're saying in the chat room here. Yep, yeah.
Yeah, Kenny, KC1PFS says he needs the instruction sheet.
Yeah.
Brett wants a remote
There are
version
reviews
with
of
Ethernet.
There are reviews of it on EHAM. And apparently somebody bought some Chinese clone boards and reviewed them.
I've got a pair in various stages of construction here.
Yeah, well, I haven't reviewed it enough or tried it enough to feel really confident about it because it is Chinese built and it's cheap. And I don't know, if you dig down deep enough, I know they didn't solder those parts in there, they welded them in. Right, Glenn? They welded the parts in?
Well, yeah, they don't solder anything over there. It's all welding.
Yeah, they welded the parts in, so I don't know. Wonder what the minimum power required to make it tune. I think it tunes under 5 watts. A lot of QRP people are using it, and a lot of people are talking about 5 watts. But there's also some the forums and things talking about this, where they may make a little mod to it. They may get it down to 1 watt tuning. So that would be, of course, I don't need it to go down that low. All right, so I'll try to get a link there and send it here in a minute. Maybe toward the end of the show, I'll while we're still on the show, I'll look that link up and we'll send it. Let's look at the FT-891. All right, so the 891 is a interesting little radio. Guys, this radio is about the size of your average VHF mobile rig. And this is a HF through 6 meters, 100 watt radio. And it's got pretty heavy heat sink on it. Of course, for 100 watts, you need that. I haven't learned. Now they've got a pretty good book that comes out with it. It tells you how to operate things. Let me turn it on here. You're not going to be able to see the display. Let's see. All right, I just turned it on. The display is black and white, and it just does not show up with the camera. Let me see if I can get it real close. I have to get really, really close. Wait a minute.
Looks very similar to the 857.
There you go.
There we are. It's just monochrome?
Yeah, yeah. So you notice there's not many. Of course, on new radios nowadays, there's not many knobs. You know, I like knobs, but you've got your RF gain and your volume. This is your what do you call it? Function key, special function, whatever it is. I don't even know what it's doing here. Let's see. Oh, right now it's on noise. You can't see it. It's on noise blanker, and I'm changing noise blanker to different levels. I got to see how I get out of that. So you know how to get out of it. If I want to change bands, there is a one labeled band up here. I hit band, and then I have about 4 seconds to dial in the band. If I don't dial in the band in 4 seconds, it goes back, and that's a little annoying. There's probably a setting where I can change it where it will hang in there a little longer. So if I hit band, then I can turn this, and then it selects. There's 18 megs, 21, there's 14, 10 megs, and then now, hey, it went out, so I got to go back and hit the band again, and you just rotate it until there's 7 megs and so forth, and it jump back out. Now, one nice thing about it is right now it's tuning. Well, let's see. Well, so I'm having trouble making it work right now. It's not tuning right now. I don't know why it's not tuning. But what I was going to mention,
lock.
It probably, yeah, it's on lock. Let's see how to get it off lock. That's A, B, lock. Oh, I bet this locked. There we. Well, I don't know. Anyway, it's kind of neat. It tunes in like, hundreds. It tunes fine tuning there. They do have a fast button. If you just hit that fast button, you can tune in to kilohertz, and it makes it tune a lot faster. But
Mark
if
P says push the big.
This button, the big one.
Yes.
My big button does not push in, and I've read that. I have read that, and that button does not push in.
Try the multi button then.
It didn't take the lock off. All right, somebody's got an
Well,
FT-891. Tell me, how do I get the lock off? The lock is on right now.
Try the
The lock.
volume button, then push it in.
Nope, it doesn't push.
That doesn't push? Okay.
That doesn't push. Let's see. Oh, I know what locks it. I know what locks it. The on-off button here locks it. Let me hit it one time. Now it's unlocked. Okay, here we go. It's unlocked. So now it's tuning. It's just tuning. Okay. So, but you know, for me to put it down to get a carrier out, I got to take it off sideband. I've got to put it in something like AM or FM, and I've got to change the mode. I got to go into the power setting. Then I've got to crank down the power to 20 watts. And then I can key up with the 20 watts. And now if I want to go back to sideband, I've got to, crank my power back up to 100 watts. And then I've got to go back to sideband. And that's what I don't like about it. So, but, I'm starting to like it. It's a neat little radio. It's a very heavy radio, guys. This thing is heavy. And I might, next time I go portable over North Carolina somewhere, I might take it with me instead of the 7300 and see if I can use it. Let's see if I can get a picture here. This is hard to do, man. There we go. There we go. It faded out on me. There we go. Well, anyway, so you can see I am not familiar with the radio at this time, but I've learned a few things. I've learned how to set the mode. I've learned how to turn the power up and down. I've learned how to change the rate that the tuning dial tunes. Right now you've got A, B, C buttons, and above them you have above the C button is a noise blinker. So I know if I hit C, that's my noise blinker. It does have a scope on here. Let me press scope. You're not going to see it. There's a scope. I don't have any antenna to it. The scope, of course, is black and white, and I'm not sure. I just couldn't make much out on the scope. Just couldn't make much out. All right. Well, anyway, I'm going to take a stab at it and see how much I like it, and maybe have some fun with it. So that's what I wanted to just show you on the. Yeah, what was that?
I'd be curious how it compares to the 857.
Yeah, I don't have that to compare to. I can compare it with my 7300, but
I've got an
course,
857
course,
in the bin. Is it an 857 or an 897 in the bin?
Yeah. Is there a dimmer in the display? I don't know. Probably is. I'm sure you can set the brightness probably of the display. But it's pretty tiny, man. It's about the size of a mobile rig. And the first time I saw one of these years ago, one of the Yaesus here, I went over a friend's house and he had it on and he was trying to do like some HF stuff. And I said, "Is that an HF rig?" I didn't know that they made one that small. Okay. Oh, let's see.
Yeah, it's the 57 I've got in my van or my SUV.
Yeah. Yeah.
Don, I think that max power on the tuner is 100 watts.
Yeah, I think it is. I think it is. Okay. All right. Well, I just wanted to show you the 891 and the little ATU-100 that I've got here. They appear to be working right now. I just, like anything, you got to kind of learn. You got to learn.
I'm
how to
curious
operate
what cooks if you hit it with more than 100 watt or the 100 watts.
I've been
you're
tuning
tuning.
it. I've been tuning it and leaving this on 100 watts, but just slightly modulating, the microphone, and
Yeah.
that holds the power down low. Now, that power is probably fluctuating, Now I don't know what that
Yeah.
does. I don't know what that does to the SWR if that causes it not to tune well, but it seemed to tune and lock in. So
I'd be tempted just to flip it to CW or AM and go for it.
yeah, I'll probably
See
do that.
what smokes.
Yeah,
I've been known to use FM for that.
yeah,
The
yeah,
other
There you
thing is
go.
that there are a lot of rigs which turn down their power automatically when you go to FM.
yeah.
There's a thought.
Do not push the
So it
smoke button.
accomplishes two things at once. It gives you a continuous carrier and it backs off your power a bit.
Yeah. I think I think AM. Usually AM is rated a lot lower, than let's see.
Yeah.
Than the rest. Let's see. Does that say anything about the power? That
It says
that
choose the band to use 20 to 30 watt power in frequency modulation mode. So they're suggesting FM.
yeah. In here, there's nowhere in this thing it says don't. Oh, there at the bottom. Display less than SWR display less than 2.0. Maximum power of 100 watts can be used. Okay. Interesting. If the SWR is greater than 3 after tuning, it will be the will be
detuned.
they will be detuned. Let's see. So, if the SWR display of the ATU tuner is in the transmitting state is greater than 2, it means that the detuned 6
It's
you need you need to use and tuner. Press and hold the ATU button to tune and reserve the VSR. Okay. Well, all right. Anyway, I'll figure it out.
their English is not terribly good.
Yeah, I'll figure it out.
No.
Okay. Oh, let's see. Hey, one of the things that I wanted to talk to you tonight, I ordered some of these little boost things, these little boost converters. We fly solar cells on our balloons, and we need 4 volts, to fly, upwards to maybe 5 volts, and I found these on Amazon. They're only 1 gram each, and it's a boost converter. Doesn't have much. They got parts on both sides, and I've looked at it, and I can put 1 volt into this, and it gives me 5 volts out. And I put a load on it. I put a 100 milliamp load on it, on the output, and I took a little 1.5 volt battery and stuck it on there, and man, I had 5 volts at 100 milliamps. So I'm thinking this may be interesting to use with some solar cells. I'm going to build up a little solar cell test jig, I guess, and take it out and monitor the voltage on the solar cells and monitor the voltage and current on the output of this boost converter. And I can kind of cover the cells up and shade them. Like it's starting to get dark, I can shade them where the voltage from the solar cells are going down from 5 volts down to 1 volt, which the tracker won't run under about 2.8 volts. It won't run. But
is there a capacitor in there?
So I'm gonna cover the cells and adjust it where the light makes the input power get down to like 1 volt, and see if it will still power the the tracker. And if that's the case, that means this could extend the tracking quite a bit in the afternoon and in the morning coming on.
Yep.
I looked at
Yeah,
the,
the only thing,
yeah,
I'm sorry.
go ahead.
The only thing I'd be worried about is RF generated by the boost converter, because of course the way they do that is they chop up the voltage, and
Yeah,
they either pass it through a transformer or they just use the kickback from a single inductor. If they don't filter it well after that,
yeah.
it could cause trouble.
I think these are running at 100 kilohertz. So, yeah, that's one of the things we're going to have to look at. And this is just the inductor. It's the inductor and a capacitor and a, a diode, and that's probably a little MOSFET. And basically, what they do that MOSFET turns on and off power to that inductor, and when it goes off, that inductor voltage collapses, and it sends that voltage through the diode to a storage capacitor, and then the MOSFET turns back on, and the inductor charges, and then it collapses. The field collapses. It sends that voltage again through the diode to the capacitor, and basically that's how it works. And what the deal is, if it sent it that slow, you wouldn't get the voltage out of it that you could use. But it sends it so fast, it's sending it there faster than what you're using it. And that's an interesting thing here. And there's a very good article if you do a search on how a boost converter works. And they've got some really nice animation on there that shows you this. So I'm happy about it because it's so light. It's just a regular capacitor.
Does it regulate the output?
It must. I can go anywhere from 1 volt up to 5 volts, and it gives me 5 volts out. Heck, so I don't know. I'm assuming that's a MOSFET there that's controlling the switching. It's only got one transistor on it. I mean,
is it a transistor or is it an integrated circuit?
well, no, it's a surface mount transistor, 3 leads.
Yeah, Mark has got an interesting comment here, and that's you need to test that thing at minus 60 centigrade.
Yeah, well, we can do that. We can do that.
Yeah, just hold an ice cube to it.
Or I can just spray some Freon on it, while it's working. That'll take it down real cold. That'll put icicles on it. Yeah. But hey, so I think that's going to be a project I do real soon here, is just put me a breadboard together with a couple solar cells, put the boost on there, put me a meter on there that monitors the cell output, and then put me a voltmeter and an amp meter with a load on the output of the boost converter. And you just take it out in the sun and vary the sun on it and just see, how the thing acts. I tell you, our solar cells run a half a volt each. It takes 2 of them for a little over 1 volt. I think you shouldn't do this, and I'm not going to do it, but I think you could take 2 solar cells with this boost converter, and I think I could power that tracker. The output of this says up to 420 milliamps output at 5 volts. It's going to be interesting to play with and see how it turns out. All right. I like little experiments like that, man.
Oh yeah, that's fun.
Yeah, it's fun doing that, man. Fun doing that.
You might even get a buck boost converter so that it reduces the voltage from the cells when you've got a lot of sunlight, and then boosts it when they're too little.
Well, I don't need to reduce it because we have voltage regulators on the tracker that's going to keep it at 3.3 volts. So as long as I can keep the voltage anywhere upwards to 5 volts, I'm okay. I think my regulators blow up at 6 volts. I need to probably think about upping the specs on them a little bit. Let's see. Okay. Well, Brett, what's this mean? You're a daddy now? What is this? I saw the chat
Well, I'm
room,
not a
man.
daddy, but yeah, but my
28.
but my
You got.
wife is yeah, my wife has gotten 28 little ones to take care of.
Wow. Were those eggs that hatched
Yeah,
or
I'll show you.
something?
Show you a picture.
All right.
Okay, these are quail chicks. My
Oh,
wife likes raising birds, and this is a Cuturnix quail.
wow.
So she
Cool.
got 28 of these. Just they're hatchlings. They're little teeny tiny chicks, and she's brooding them. And eventually, about half of them are going to be hens that lay eggs.
Okay. Well, now
So she's going to
is
have a
that
lot of
some
fun with
did
that.
she buy those or did you hatch them?
They were hatched for her and then
Okay.
delivered to a local farm and ranch store. She could have hatched them. She
Yeah.
has an
Yeah.
incubator.
Okay. Okay. Good. All
So
right.
that's going to be a lot of fun for her. And of course, I'm going to wind up taking care of them some of the time.
Yeah. Yep. All right, guys. Let's move on here real quick. Our time's going to run out here. Just want to give you guys an update on our balloon flight. W5KUB 119 is flying. That is that's a balloon that we are flying for our Russellville friends over where we went to the Hamfest here a few weeks ago. The Arkansas River Valley Amateur Radio Foundation. And we're trying to get them around the world. We launched one for them a couple weeks ago, and it made it to Kazakhstan, and we lost it in Kazakhstan after several days of GPS jamming and spoofing in Ukraine. So we don't know what happened. It just didn't show up the next day. This one looks like it's doing pretty good. We're just about across. We're just about across China. I'm gonna pull it up on the screen here, and let's take a look at it here real quick. Let you guys see how to track it in case you want to track it. So if you just go to w5kub.com, this is the easiest way for me to explain it to you. Yeah, there are several tracking ways here. You can see it's been up 8 days, 12 hours, 16 minutes. If you click on that red link there, it says click here to see the position of 119 on the APRS map. So I'm going to click on that, and that's going to bring up the APRS map here. And it's going to show us where we are right now. There we are. We're somewhere. I can't read Chinese. But if you look at the little box that pops above, I'm going to close that box out by Xing it out. Now I'm gonna click on the balloon just to get the information back, so it opens the box back up. If you look at that, we're doing 131 miles per hour, and our altimeter right now is at 41,338. Now we've been right around the 42,000 mark ever since we launched. It's been steady at that, within a few hundred feet. And of course, we expect that to, vary based on winds and, barometric pressure and things like that. So we're going to zoom out here. I'm going to just turn the mouse here, and we're going to zoom out. Oh, that's a big city we're going over. I don't know what that city is right there. I'm sure
zoom
Brett
out
can.
a little more.
Brett can.
Let's see what province we're in.
Brett can speak Chinese, I think. So.
I know a little.
Yeah. I can speak a little bit Mandarin, man. Ni hao mao, Kong he fat choi. Okay. So here we are. We are. You can see we've made it a good ways across. We've made it a good ways across China already, and probably in the morning we're going to be there at the Yellow Sea. Yeah, we're going to be right here at the Yellow Sea.
You're in Canton.
Yeah, we're going to be at the Yellow Sea here by the morning. Now, guys, let's see, 55 years ago, I was stationed right here in Osan, Korea, right below the DMZ there. I never thought 50 years ago I'd look up in the sky and think 55 years from now I'm going to be flying a balloon over the top of here. But we're going to fly this balloon across. It's going to hit the tip of Korea. It's going to hit Japan there. And then we're on the final leg to back home, you know, for lap 1. So let me just show you here what we got. Look at there. There's where we are, and there's where we got to go. That's a big ocean right there. I don't think I can measure. I'm gonna try to measure it. I think with the international date line there, it messes up my measurement. But I'm gonna put a marker here, and I'm gonna drag the marker over here and see what it says. That says 6,797 miles. Now I don't think that's right. Let me watch this number here. 6,000. I'm gonna back up when I get to the international date line. I think it may change a little. Let's see. 67, 66, 64. We're in the 50s, 49s. No, that might be right. It looks like we're about 6,756 miles from the finish line there. And that's going to be that's good. Now it's going to take us days to get across here. Days. All right. Okay. So back to my page. If you're on our balloon page, remember, go to w5kub.com and click on balloon up here, and you'll get this page. Now there's an additional tracking I've got for you here. Right down here, there's a little map here. And this is called SondayNet. It's amateur.sundayhub.net. And it basically shows you the same thing. You can scroll in and out on it, you can see where it is and so forth. Now the interesting thing here is you can hit float and you can get a prediction. So let me hit float. I'm gonna hit float. Look at that. See the little blue line that popped up? This is a float. This is where it's supposed to be going over the next, say, 72 or 80 hours. That's where we're going to go right there. So it's got a prediction on there, so you can do that. Also, if you want to, you can go down a little further and you can find it on Whisper. The call on Whisper is W5KUB. You can see the time here. You can see a grid, a 4-digit grid, but you can actually see the transmissions coming in here, and we have 2 different transmissions coming in here, and by the 2 different transmissions we can add those together, and that gives us information like voltage, altitude, and things like that. So this is the best place if you want to follow it. You can go to aprs.fi if you're familiar with APRS. And on aprs.fi, you can just key in W5KUB-119. It'll bring up the same map right here. Now you see it's hard to read where it is. The reason I think that the people, APRS and the Whisper people, got off the maps, the good maps they were on, is you got thousands of people in the country hitting this map all the time, watching balloons and different things, watching their car travels. And Google Maps charges you for hits, you know. And with all the people in the world hitting that Google Map, I don't know, but they must have been getting a pretty good bill to and being charged for it. So instead they went to a free map. And you can kind of see why. If you look at the names here, you can see why. I have to just recognize the countries. I can't read most of this right here. So,
okay.
What was that?
Yeah, I'm just looking at where you are.
Yeah.
Actually, I was wrong. You're not in Canton. Now that you zoomed out a little, I can see you're north of Shanghai.
Yeah. Well, I think Wuhan is right down in here somewhere down toward the bottom. We used to fly over Wuhan a lot, the lab there, you know, where the lab leak was.
Uh-huh.
So
Yeah.
anyway, guys, so what I've done, and as I explained before, my friend out of Texas has done all the coding and everything, and on our server, he has put this same tracking, basically better tracking actually, on our server using the Google Map. And if you look at the Google Map, let's see, if you look at, where's my Google Map? You can look at my map and you can see it's much cleaner. I mean, it's in English everywhere. It's in English, and you can actually, look there, look at the cities. You can read them. How you like it? Okay, so that's a Google Map on my server now. I'm paying for the Google Map, but I don't remember. It's been several years now. Google, my payment to Google Map lets me get something like, I don't know, 100,000 hits or something like that before they charge me anything. After, and I'm making this number up, after 100,000 hits, then they start charging me, you know, a penny or whatever for so many hits, you know. So I don't have enough volume going that I reached 100,000, so it doesn't cost me anything. So the way he designed this map is, we've got a balloon thing over here, this box, and you can actually select I have to input the balloons, but you can actually select the balloons. For instance, this is some of our flights right here. And if you select the flight, it should populate on this map and show you all the tracking for it. Now, that's what's not working right now, and he's working on this tonight to try to fix this. He said he has it working on his server, so there's something here changed that we're going to have to correct. But it's a much cleaner map to use. And there's 119 right there. I can click on it, but of course it doesn't come up. So we're going to fix that. We're going to fix it. So anyway, I like that map better. I can't wait to get that fixed. But that's how we're tracking our balloon 119 right now. All right. Let's see what else is going on here tonight. Well, we're just about at the end of our show here. It's 9:25. Just want to say again, if you're listening out there on shortwave, you've been listening to Amateur Radio Roundtable, a show about ham radio, shortwave electronics. Send us an email to tom@w5kub.com. Love to hear from you, where you are. And if you are listening on WBCQ, you're listening on Thursday afternoon from 5 to 7. Our show is every Tuesday night from 8 o'clock till about 9:30 Central Time. So you can join us just by going to w5kub.com. You'll find us. Look us up on the internet. We're just about everywhere. We're on YouTube, Facebook, Facebook, X. We're on every podcast carrier out there like iTunes, iHeart, iPlay, whatever they are, you know. We'll be glad to have you on Tuesday if you want to join us. And you can watch the show live. You can join us in the chat room and talk directly to us. Also, all of our shows are recorded. You can watch them all on YouTube at any time on our YouTube channel, W5KUB. And let's see, what else? Anything else we need to tell them about? We got Dayton coming up. Glenn and Brett are both going to be.
Huntsville's a little far off.
Yeah. Glenn and Brett going to be in Dayton. I'm not going, but I'm going to run out from the studio here. We're going to stream it Friday and Saturday.
Yep.
Okay.
I hope my rental car doesn't sink in the mud.
I think you'll survive
Yeah,
it.
you and me both.
We went up there 40 straight years, and man, talk about weather. Well, I guarantee you, it will snow, sleet, sunburn, flood, tornado, all the same weekend. But you'll have a good time.
Oh, yeah.
You'll have a good time, and you'll make it back. Yeah.
Yep, we'll see how many goodies I bring back.
Yeah.
Same here, yeah. I brought so much stuff back from Florida, they had to open up my suitcase to make sure it wasn't bad stuff.
Yeah. Okay. I think we're going to hit
Mark's
South
right.
Korea.
Memphis used to be in April.
Oh yeah, and it was much colder then. It was much colder.
You may hit South Korea. It looks like I was mistaken as to which bay you were going over, but you're north of Shanghai.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I think we're going to hit the southern tip of Korea, I think. Okay, I was reading what Bill had some comments there. Man, you know, hey, I can remember Dayton. Man, it would be hey, one day it'd be so cold, we'd be sticking newspapers in our clothes to keep warm. That's how bad it was. And the next day, man, we'd be taking our clothes off and putting shorts on. Oh, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, in the chat, I see there are going
one
to
thing
be
about
balloon
Hera,
launches from the food court. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, one thing about Hera was that parking lot that was like the moon. It tore up shoes in a heartbeat, man.
Hera was my favorite place. I still like Hera. I guess because I went there. I guess I went so many years. I mean, it's really unique.
Yeah, I only went about
it's
4
really a
years,
unique
5
place to go when you go inside the building, and a guy has a tent inside the building just to stay dry. That's how it was, guys.
Yeah, it took a while to figure out the layout of Hera, but towards the end there, I had it down.
Well, once we moved inside,
Xenia is so much simpler.
Once we moved inside, it was pretty simple. I'll tell you, it wasn't that much, but boy, the first time you go in there, you get lost. And if you came out,
Xenia doesn't have.
Yeah, and if you came out and tried to tell somebody, you know, hey, they got some heat shrink in here. Go to. You could not tell them where to go. You could never describe how to get there.
The running joke was if you saw something and were thinking about buying it, you better buy it when you see it because you'll never find it again.
That's right. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. But again, at least Hera had air conditioning. Xenia does not, and those buildings got stuffy that first year.
Well, I hope they do something better. I guess the Johnny on the outhouse. I guess they got more outhouses outside. I know inside the building that we were in for a couple of years, the men's bathroom, it was so small. I mean, it would handle about two people. It would handle about 2 people for 30,000 being there. You know. So
their plumbing could not handle the number of people who were there.
Yeah, yeah. All right, let's look at something here. Tell you what, we're going to end the show tonight with the with Round Table Band, guys. This is a Round Table Band. You might recognize some of these people. We've got Emmett from Radio Waves. We've got Joe K0NEB. We've got Richard Stubbs there. We got Don, and we got me back here on the saxophone. So we're gonna end this with ham band tonight. Our not ham band, but round table band. Here we go.
And the signal's tight. Static fades, I twist the knob, the shack comes alive, this is my job. LEDs glow, antennas high, another night beneath the sky. I'm calling out, hear that tone, across the globe I'm not alone. The net's alive and I'm checking in, let the conversation begin. We're at the amateur radio round table, we're all plugged in, solid and stable. W5KUB's calling loud and proud, spinning stories through the static cloud from KW5GP to WI7BG. We're rocking the bands wild and free. Hey, Glenn's got mods on a breadboard bass. Brett's breaking news from a distant place. Tom's at the helm like a seasoned vet, streaming it live on the internet. Antenna swing, the skip is long. We're singing the ham radio song. Spin that dial, let's
right. Good night to everybody out there listening and watching on the internet. See you next week. Now, my son complained a few weeks ago that we shut the show off too quick. It's just like when the show is off, we just flip the switch off. So we're going to leave it on a little while, okay? We're going to leave it on, and no telling what you might hear. The Amateur Radio Roundtable's over, so we're in uncharted waters right now, guys. Yeah, uncharted waters. All right. Well, I had a good time tonight. I'm thinking about some popcorn. Man. Y'all have a good time.
I picked something up at Sam's Club.
You say you picked something up?
It's been my downfall.
Well, what is that? What do you get?
Oh, what's that?
It's dark chocolate covered pistachios.
Oh, boy.
Oh,
Well,
they are so
Oh,
good.
they have all sorts of sweet treats like that.
I tell you what I crave, man. They're hard to find. You may not even know what I'm talking about. A Zagnut. I love Zagnuts.
Oh, my word. Huh? I'm a
You-
Butterfinger guy.
Have you ever had a Zagnut?
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Man, I tell you, man, my mouth is watering right now. I want a Zagnut.
I don't think they make them anymore.
Yeah, they do. You can get them at places like on the interstate, Cracker Barrel, places like that where they got candy out there. Oh man, I want a Zagnut.
Nope, I'm a Butterfinger guy.
Anybody in the chat room know what a Zagnut is?
There we are.
What do we got? What do we got going?
Okay. Well, I'll show you what I've got.
Let's see what you got.
It'll take a second for the delay.
Oh,
Wait a minute. Devil
devil
dog.
dogs.
Yeah, man, devil dogs. All right, y'all making me hungry, but I still
One of the
think
one of the best snack cakes of all time.
I
The
still
Drake's
think-
Devil Dog.
if you got you a Zagnut, man, you'd be stuck on them though. Oh,
I've had them.
Mark says Amazon sells them. I'm gonna go in here and check Amazon out. I might buy me a box of 64 here or something
Yeah, there
like
you
that.
go.
Give me a box of 64. That might last me, from show to show.
Yeah.
Man, I didn't know Amazon sells them.
Yeah. Well, the Drake's Devil Dog you have to mail order here because none of the stores sell them.
Yeah. Well, the Zagnuts are also getting hard to find, man. Really hard.
Oh, hey, I forgot to mention, it looks like I'm going to be zapped from the inside out here in a couple months.
Well, didn't we know that?
Zapped?
Didn't we know that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I finally saw the cardiologist or the electrophysiologist yesterday.
Okay.
And she walked in with these two electrodes, just tapping them together and sparking and saying, "Come here, big boy."
Nah, I don't believe
So-
that. I don't believe that. I don't believe that.
But yeah, they're gonna do some zapping on me here in
Well,
about
I know
2 to 3
people-
months.
Yeah, I know people that have had that done, and it
Yeah.
worked out. It worked out really good for them.
Well,
Yeah.
this is the final stage of all that heart stuff I've been going through.
Yeah, that's good.
They're finally doing the fine tuning and saying, they changed my meds yesterday, and that worked out quite well so far.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they're gonna Thursday. I'm going in for scans and stuff, and then they'll schedule it up. But the way she was talking, it's like a 2 to 3 month waiting list.
Okay.
Apparently everybody in Arkansas has heart problems.
Yeah, probably do.
They got a whole chain of heart hospitals here, man.
Well, you're in a good place.
Yeah.
You're in a good place.
Yeah,
if you're
I'm in here-
15 minutes, hey man, if you're 15-minute ambulance ride from the heart place, you're in good shape, man.
5 minutes from 2.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah. So that's all going good. The fact that the old house is closing and it looks like I'm going to get that tower here real soon, that's going to be wonderful.
Well, that's great.
Yeah, and
It's
I'm
always a
not
relief
on
when you
Eloquist,
get the
Chris.
sale done.
They
Well,
just switched. I'm on Xarelto for my blood thinner and Plavix. Yeah, I was on Eliquis for a while though. But yeah, they just switched up my meds yesterday, and that had been planned for a while because they determined that the meds I was on was not right for my type of AFib, and they were like, "Let's just wait until you see the cardiologist again, and we'll adjust it from there." And they did yesterday.
hey,
So
I got an idea, man. I got an idea. You could design a
yeah,
little Arduino circuit, and we could use one of these boost converters to jump the voltage up to like a few hundred volts, and
yeah,
you could wear that on your chest into the doctor's office and
yeah,
show him how it works. And you know what? We may get a contract to build those suckers.
yeah. No, I'll pass.
You know, during COVID, where there weren't enough ventilators,
Yes.
our friend down in India, they used Arduino and built breathing machines to take the place of
Right. Jack
yeah,
Purdom was part of that group.
yeah,
W9PUM was part of that group. Yeah.
yeah. Chris is asking, I think, if this this antenna tuner will run on 12 volts. Yep, it will. In fact, the 12 volt power cord I have going to the radio, I put a plug on the same cord where I plug the radio and the tuner in together off the same power cord.
Mm-hmm. I'm
Yeah,
surprised. I'm
That's
surprised that
correct.
they
It's an
didn't have
ATU
power
100.
poles.
you're surprised what, Brett?
I'm surprised the power connector didn't use power poles.
Yeah, I
They
don't
use
know.
that standard DC jack that they
Yeah.
all use.
And I tell you, the cord they sent with me, I had to use like 50 pounds of pressure to plug it into the jack. I mean, this
Yeah.
stuff doesn't have great tolerances.
Well, they aren't standard. That's the problem. Those barrel connectors, there's two sizes of center plug and there's two
Yeah,
sizes of the outer
Yeah.
barrel,
right.
and they mix and match them.
Well,
So
they must not
I have a collection of power
at the
supplies.
factory. They must not know that they're mismatched. It plugged in.
But
It
it could
plugged
be
in fine.
2.1 millimeters or 2.5 millimeters,
Yeah.
and the pin in the middle, and then the outside can be two sizes as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Brett, while I'm thinking about it, if you see an SG237 at Dayton, look me up and let me know where it's at.
I will.
Because I'm looking to get me one of those. I got the ATU 100 to put in my car. And just like, Tom there, I didn't realize it had that 20, 30 watt limit. And I'm like, I'm not going to go messing around with all that stuff. I want one that'll handle it straight off.
Mm.
Yeah, well, there are, if you depends on what rig you're using it with. If you have like a Kenwood, it has a tune button and it puts out a reduced signal for your tuning.
Yeah. I have
but that tunes
857 Yaesu.
that tunes the internal tuner though.
You can set it to either do the internal tuner or
really?
do an external one. Yeah.
Mm. Yeah.
Okay.
I
I'll have
really
to
wish
look
they
on the
had standard for
857.
that.
Yeah.
It'd be
I
especially
like
nice if
I
they
like
had it set
Mark's.
up.
Yeah, I like Mark's idea about an attenuator. I could build me a
Yeah,
little
that
attenuator.
would do it.
Build me a little attenuator. Well, I'd still have to put the thing over on CW or FEM or something.
Yeah, but that's not that big a deal.
It'd be cool if this thing had a button, like a memory button, where I could just hit it and it would say, put me on FM at 20 watts. And then,
Yeah.
then I come out of memory. That would be kind of cool. I don't know.
That'd be nice.
Well, one of the complaints in the reviews that I saw was that the AT100 has no memory, so it has to tune
Yeah.
from scratch every time.
Yeah. Well, that may not be a big deal.
Yeah, the
No,
SG-237 has a memory, and what it does is it looks
Yeah,
to see if the memory was right, and if it wasn't right, then it jumps and completely retunes.
right.
hmm
And I don't
Oh,
know
I
that
also,
the SGC tuner has a low power tune. I just tuned it. I just tuned it at 100 watts. I never really reduced
yeah,
power to
that's
tune it.
what you would think is just go for it. I don't
Hmm.
understand why the AT100 has that limit.
Well, they
Well,
probably
the
left out.
SGC tells you the manual in the SGCs tells you to tune to 10 watts,
Oh no.
but you can get away with not doing it.
Yeah. Well,
Okay.
I hadn't had any problems with it. And I've had that thing for
I'd be
years.
curious since I have two of the ATU 100s to go for it 100 watts and see what it does. I'd like to know what burns up.
Yeah.
Mhm. It'd be cool if the
But
circuit could be changed so it has an automatic attenuator and then
yeah,
cuts it out once it's tuned.
yeah, that's another thought.
Well, maybe you ought
Oh,
to
I
design
found
it.
out on this.
Yeah. What did you find out?
Go ahead.
No.
On my new tower, it's also got the electric winch for the crank up tilt over.
Oh, that's cool, man. Yeah.
So yeah, I'm looking forward to getting that thing in and in the ground.
Hmm.
Man.
Yeah, they sent pictures today.
Hmm. But it doesn't have trolleys, does it, for the antennas?
No, no, no. It's a, what is it? The Aluma tower, and it's their 38-foot version. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm hoping maybe it even comes with the rotator. And we'll see what it, I don't need the beam, but if it comes with the rotator, that'd be nice too.
Hmm.
You'd be ready for it.
So I'm ready. You know, here I'm finally getting caught up on everything. I've got one Arduino project I'm finishing up, and then I got to get on the mesh networking book. And after that, my calendar's relatively clear, so I get to play. I
Hmm.
finally got my workbench in the garage set up. I've got my work area in the other room all set up, so I can actually build and do things again.
All right, guys, I'm going to go. I think we've left the stream on long enough that people won't be upset that we leave.
Well, I'm wanting some of my chocolate pistachios, so let's go.
I'm wanting some popcorn. Mm. You know, I like my popcorn
Yeah, and you
cooked.
need to look up those Zag nuts.
I like my popcorn cooked a little extra. I like that little charred
No,
taste to it. You know,
nope, nope, nope,
not much, just a little bit. You know.
nope. Do not like burned popcorn. Nope.
Okay.
Burn my share in life.
All right. See you guys next week.
Yep.
All right. See you next week,
Yes, okay.
everybody.
Uh-huh.